review of Star Wars Episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. So, man, okay. Alright. This is the last time I'm ever going to have to review one of these shitty Star Wars movies, so let's get on with it. Where to fucking start again? Let's start with the beginning of the film. So, opening crawl says, Palpatine is still alive. Great. They basically don't give too much information on why Palpatine is still alive. But they say, there's been a eerie transmission, speaking of revenge, in a voice that sounds like Palpatine. Wow, that's pretty convenient, isn't it? At this point, you would think that all the good guys in the film would be freaking the fuck out. Palpatine's still alive? What, the guy that nearly destroyed the universe? How could he possibly still be alive? Just not explained. He just is. Just ride with it. So the next scene is Kylo Ren kicking some ass in the forest. He kills some motherfuckers. He gets this little pyramid-looking thing that turns out is called a Wayfinder. And he uses it to find Palpatine's location, and apparently he's on a planet that sounds like testicle. Like when he said Exegol, and all I could think of was testicle. Apparently it's Exegol, but that's where Palpatine's been hiding, because he does look like an anthropomorphic testicle, let's be honest. So let's just call it testicle. So Palpatine is hiding on testicle. Fuck, man. So Kylo Ren goes out there, and there's a massive black kind of monolith thing. And Kylo Ren goes underneath it. It's just raised off the ground, and he goes in there, and it's Palpatine, and he meets Palpatine. Apparently, it's played by the same dude. I can't believe he's still alive. He looks pretty similar. And Palpatine doesn't explain like how he's like, what's going on? Why are you alive, mate? How are you still alive? He doesn't explain it really. He says that he wants to find Rey, basically. So Palpatine is trying to find Rey. Rey is really, really powerful. She's the ultimate Mary Sue. Her powers go way beyond the Force, because in the echo chamber of Disney, just being a woman alone, a female protagonist, means you're invincible. So, of course, Palpatine needs to find her. Palpatine obviously has some feminist DNA, hence why he's still alive, I guess. Probably got some from Rey. You'll find out later. That's actually a true statement. So, Kylo Ren goes to find Rey, basically. And then, what happens next? So, Rey is on some planet getting trained by Princess Leia. And Rey's acting is just appalling. Why has nobody called out Daisy Ridley on how fucking terrible her acting is? I know we have to be careful around women these days. Shh. Shh. It's a woman, guys. Be very careful. Be very careful. Women are very sensitive. They've had a real rough time. Be careful around women. We can't criticize women. Nobody's criticized Daisy Ridley. She cannot act for toffee. She cannot act to save her life. It is so cringeworthy watching her deliver her lines. There wasn't one line in this whole film from the protagonist, Daisy Ridley, that felt like good acting. It all felt below average at best, at utmost best. So this is what happens if you just decide to have forced diversity and inclusion in a movie. Rey, Daisy Ridley, is obviously there because of Disney's inclusivity agenda. And it fucking shows. So, look, just calling it how it is. Rey and Leia on a planet is like some girly Jedi meeting, and they're all doing their training and stuff, but it's all just a little bit too fancy, a little bit too delicate. There's no ass kicking there. Rey announces that she's got to go and do the Jedi training course in the same tone that one would usually reserve for saying, oh, I've got to pop to the bank, got to get some money out. So she runs around, does a little Jedi training course, and that's pretty much it. And then she's going to fuck off from the planet. So Rey's completing her training with Leia. And then it turns out there's a mole in the First Order or the New Order, whatever the fuck it's called. Who cares? It's just the Empire. There's a mole, and he's revealed that Palpatine's still alive. So again, people aren't really freaking out at this point. If I were in the Star Wars universe, I'd be like, what the fuck? Palpatine? Palpatine? Still alive? This is awful. This is like the end of the world. What are we going to do? But everyone just says, oh, okay, so Palpatine's still alive. All right, then. We better sort that one out. So Rey finds out somehow, I can't even fucking remember, that Luke Skywalker was looking for the planet where Palpatine is, which kind of means Luke Skywalker knew that Palpatine was still alive. It's just really messy, this plot. The plot gets way messier. You just wait. So Luke Skywalker was looking for Testicle, where Palpatine is chilling in complete darkness, by the way, which he fucking loves. But Luke couldn't find this fucking thing. Basically, the best Jedi of all time can't find it. So Rey's gonna find it. So the last place Luke was known to have been looking for this pyramid called I think it's Wayfinder or Pathfinder or like Soy Finder or something. Luke was looking for that and he couldn't find it, but he ended up on this desert planet. It's just a discount Tatooine. So they go to this discount Tatooine to find this Pathfinder, Wayfinder, whatever the fuck, the whatchamacallit thing that every science fiction movie has that's super, super magic and can fix the world and solve all the problems. It's basically an ex machina. So they go to this desert planet and there's all these people having a rave, like all these aliens raving and shit. So the director J.J. Abrams thought, oh, in the other Star Wars, there are weird, like puppet creatures, and they're funny and silly, and they dance. So I'll put some dancing puppets in too. So they're all dancing, and this is just evidence of Daisy Ridley's awful acting. So she goes on the planet, and her line is something like, "I've never seen something like this before," and she delivers it with all the enthusiasm of a D-grade drama student. She gets it, looks around. I've never seen something like this before. Just abominable acting. So Rey, being this kind of feminist hero, she's super nicey nice. She never says anything too harsh to people, and she's just all things to all people and really smiling and really polite and nice. And she makes friends on the planet. And there's some alien who says, "What's your name?" And she says, "I'm Rey. What's your second name?" "Oh, I don't have a family. I don't have a family name." "Oh, what's your name?" And the name's something like Mumbo Jumbo. And she goes, "Oh, Mumbo Jumbo, that's an amazing name. Oh, so accepting of other cultures and so friendly and so nice is Rey." She's just so unlikable, bolstered by the fact that she can't act at all. So at this point, the actors are walking along. They find Lando. Lando says, "You got to go this way, mate." Then they start walking along and they go into quicksand, which is kind of harking back to the first movie, New Hope, where they get sucked into the garbage compactor and they're all going down and choking. And at that point, Finn, Poe, Rey had all been sucked into this quicksand. And I was praying that they would never come out. I thought, this is the answer to everything. J.J. Abrams is a genius. He just kills off all these wankers and then brings back the original cast to clean up the mess they've made. But unfortunately, they go through the quicksand and they're in this cave. And this Jedi, it's been established at some point, I think it's already been established, that the person who had this Pathfinder that goes to planet Testicle that can find that can find Palpatine, shriveled old Palpatine, he was a Jedi hunter, and he was hunting for Rey but couldn't find her, so he got the next best thing, her mum and dad, and brought them to someone. I think it was Palpatine or someone, and they killed Rey's parents. And that guy who orchestrated that went to this planet for some reason and got swallowed in the sand, and then dropped his Pathfinder, which is his route to Palpatine, which he's been using to communicate with Palpatine. He dropped that in the sand, and then Rey's going to find... See, the story's so convoluted already. And before they get this fucking thing, there's a giant snake in there. And it's kind of a puppet snake. So they're trying to make it like the original Star Wars. But when it's all CGI and super clean, and you mix that with puppets and stuff, it just looks like what it is. It's a big plastic fucking thing. And there's a big snake, and it's all angry and shit, and it's going to eat them, but it's got a gash, it's got a wound on its side, and Rey says, wait, because Rey can do fucking anything, and it's a woman. Shh. Be very careful. Women have to be shown as perfect the whole time. Don't hurt her feelings. Women can't be shown to have any faults at all. And so, Rey's the ultimate Mary Sue, okay? She can do anything in this film. She can fly, she can fucking scavenge, she can jump, has force powers, she's amazing with lightsabers, she can fix the Millennium Falcon, she does it fucking all. And in this case, she heals the snake like Jesus fucking Christ, the Messiah. Puts her hand on it and heals the snake. How? Where was this ever shown in the film? When there's force powers in films, they introduce them kind of slowly, right? Jedi mind trick, you see Obi-Wan do it. These are not the droids you're looking for. And then they try it later, kind of fails, and do it more and it works and what have you. But she is Jesus Christ reincarnate as a woman, healing the big snake. Reptiles are fucking angry cunts. They will never ever be your friends. There was a big crocodile called Pochi. If you watch it on YouTube, Google Pochi, I think it's Pochi. He was tamed by this guy, the crocodile whisperer, but that's like the only case ever of a reptile being friendly with a human. And the only reason that happened is because it was shot in the head by a hunter, and this guy nursed it back to health, and it scrambled its brain probably. That's why it was nice to its owner. But all other reptiles will absolutely rape you. But the snake is a nice snakey wakey. Rey heals it, and then it's all nice, and it moves, and the snake was blocking the way out or some shit. So this snake's been like stuck in this hole for like 20 years. What's going on? There's also another part in this which is quite woke, where when Poe's first introduced, he comes in and he's saying, what the fuck's going on? And Rey says something like, you're a difficult man, aren't you? You're a difficult man. Can't say difficult women because shh, don't want to hurt women's feelings. So all this is fucking going on. They get out of this fucking stupid hole. But the Pathfinder thing, the Wayfinder, it's not there. There's a dagger and it's got something written on it. And they have to follow what the dagger says to where the other fucking thingamajigger is. It's like, okay, we need C and we're at A. So let's go to B. But now we have to go from B to C to get what we want. So we go to C to get what we want, but C is not there. C is, now you have to go to D to get what you want. Okay, so go from C to D to get what you want. Go to D, but what we want's not there, so go from D to E. So they're just going around like this. It's like loads of nodes in this film. It's like a video game. Just moving from one scene to the next. It's like kids when they're playing with toys. This is what they do. Like, it's a rocket ship, brr, and here comes the alien, and the sea monster's coming. That's what happens in this film. It's just random scene after random fucking scene. So now that they can't get the thing, they have to get the dagger which leads to the thing, but they can't use it because it can't be read because it's written in a Sith language, and only C-3PO can read it, but he's forbidden. His programming forbids him from reading Sith language because Sith language is bad. Hate speech. So they can't do that. So they get out of this worm's lair, and Kylo knows that Rey's there. There's all these weird ex machinas. He's got a force bond, so he just knows she's there. I really fucking hate this. I really hate the way he just fucking knows everything. Before, you'd have to be kind of close or in the same room or kind of close by. Maybe at some points in the original films, there was a scene where maybe Vader goes in someone's mind from far away, but it's few and far between. But in this film, there's so many points where Rey and Kylo are kind of just knowing where each other are or knowing a lot about each other, like so much. They can even take stuff from each other. There's a scene where Kylo rips her necklace off when they're not even in the same, they're not within 1,000 miles of each other, which just makes everything too easy. So for some reason, Kylo just knows where the fuck she is, finds her, and she's pissing around outside. They're supposed to be taking off and saving the day. Rey's pissing around outside. Chewbacca goes to find her. And then Chewbacca gets captured. Before that, Kylo Ren comes down in his TIE fighter, whatever the fuck it is. And Rey, the skinny little vegan wimp that she is. Rey, honestly, she looks like the kind of woman who couldn't get the lid off a jar of peanut butter. She's the wrong casting. So how the fuck does she do what she does next? Without even looking, she does some Matrix triple axle backflip and cuts the wing off the TIE fighter. And there's not a fleck of dirt on her perfect little clothes because, shh, Rey's perfect, everyone. She's perfect. She's a woman. Be careful. Just tell her she's the best. Pretend she's great at everything. That happens. Such a ridiculous casting, Rey. Just so unbelievable. Then Chewbacca gets captured and she basically gets Chewbacca killed. Rey is using her force power to hold back a spaceship from taking off. She's just omnipotent, this gross display of power that she's never earned. She's just given it. It's like the parents. Rey is how parents think their kids will turn out if they just give them false approval 24/7, which is why current generation of millennials, so many of them are such assholes, because their parents have just said, you don't have to earn anything. You're special. You should just have everything just by default. And then they grow up to just expect everything to fall into their lap and start crying when things don't go their way. That's what will really happen. But parents think if they do that to their kid, they give them this false approval over everything. They're going to grow up to be like Rey. It's a product of that thinking. So, anyways, Rey gets Chewbacca killed pretty much. They think that Chewbacca's dead. But guess what? He's not really dead. Just like Palpatine, no one's really dead in the Star Wars universe. So when someone dies, it has zero gravitas now. So Chewbacca isn't actually dead. Okay, so they basically go to space to get Chewbacca to rescue him. And I think, I don't know if it's after this or before this. Anyways, they go to rescue Chewbacca and they go into space and they go in there, they go into the ship and they basically rescue Chewbacca, to cut a long story short. Kylo's still on this fucking planet. I don't know what he's still doing down there. Rey's in Kylo's room and she sees the dagger that he'd taken from her. So confusing. It's so confusing, this plot. So somehow the daggers end up in Kylo's fucking room. He's nicked it. And then Rey sees the dagger. And then Kylo's asking, where are you? Where are you? He knows she's somewhere. And he snatches the chain off her neck. So force powers now allow you to just reach into someone's world and take something, which just is ridiculous. It's so stupid. You have to have some kind of grounding on these powers. You have to be able to suspend your disbelief. There needs to be some kind of limitation. Power without limitation is not exciting. Power is only as powerful as its limitation allows you to be. That fine equilibrium. It's like the dark and the light side of the Force. Force lightning wouldn't be so impressive if there wasn't some kind of counterbalance on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Limitations is what makes things exciting. And there's no limitations to these force powers. So anyways, Rey gets the dagger back. That's the key point. And they need to get C-3PO to say what's on this dagger. So they go to some other planet and there's this another strong, powerful woman, like kick-ass woman that Poe used to know, who doesn't take any shit. And they get C-3PO to say what's on the dagger. His eyes go red. They have to wipe his memory to do it. It's what a lot of far left progressive culture wants to do. It wants to like erase history, wipe your memory, don't see this. It's all kind of ties into that shit. And so they have to go to some planet with the Death Star. So the Death Star is still around. The Death Star fell in the sea. What the hell is going on? The Death Star is the size of a planet. It's fucking massive. How can it fall in the sea? Okay, so the Death Star's in the sea, and Rey goes down to this planet, and then they're greeted by the leader of this tribe. It's like this should be called this shouldn't be called Star Wars. It should be called Diversity and Inclusion Wars. So the leader of this tribe is like a strong, powerful woman of color, and she comes along. She's really friendly and stuff, and she's looking after them or whatever. And Rey finds out where this Pathfinder thing is by getting the dagger and holding it up to the Death Star, and it makes this shape that points where it is. The Death Star could have fallen in any fucking pattern. It could have been shattered into pieces, and it's fallen perfectly so this dagger can find out where this thing is. So Rey, being the strong, powerful woman she is, just throws caution to the wind and fucking goes across these tsunamis to go to this Death Star. Can you see how ridiculous this plot is, right? So she goes in there, she finds it, and then more weird video game shit happens. It's like the kid director who's just making stuff up as he goes along when he plays with his aeroplanes and spaceships and rockets. So now she finds the thing, picks it up, and there's an evil Rey. And she fights an evil Rey. Who is that? Who is it? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Are you tripping? Are you hallucinating? Have you separated? What's going on? So then that disappears, and then Kylo's there. Why is Kylo there? How did he get there? Does he know you're there again? See, Force powers aren't really so fun when they have no limit, and you can just ex machina anything into existence. The Force, the Jedi mind trick fails sometimes. That's what gives it drama and tension, because you use it, you don't know if it's gonna fucking work. But now you can just do anything with these Force powers that are never explained. So then she fights Kylo, and again, this shows you that Rey's the wrong casting for this film. She's a skinny, frail vegan who can't take the jar off a fucking jar. She can't take the lid off a jar of peanut butter, and she's fighting some Sith Lord. And she's kicking his ass for a long time, but eventually he gets the better of her. And then Leia is so shoehorned into this film. She died. Let her rest. Leave her alone. They try to just fit her in, and it does her a disservice. You know, some of the scenes weren't even meant for this film, you feel. And so she's in it again, and she talks to Ben, which is her son. And then Rey stabs him. So what you doing, Leia? You've just got your son killed. What's going on? So then he's dying, and then Leia brings him back to life by touching him like she touched up that fucking snake. Again, no limit on the Force powers. And again, people dying doesn't mean anything anymore. From the get-go, Palpatine's alive. That means when someone dies, it doesn't matter. Chewie dies, but now Chewie's alive. Kylo's dead, bring him fucking back to life. So he comes back to life. Then she flies off in his spaceship with this Pathfinder thing she flies off to Testicle to find Palpatine. And she transmits the coordinates to the rest of the good guys. Speaking of which, there's only a handful of good guys in this. There's 50 of them, max, right? So she goes up there, and it turns out that Palpatine has amassed the biggest army of Star Destroyers you've ever fucking seen. There's thousands of these huge behemoth ships that are just going to destroy everything. How original. In the original Star Wars, they're building a Death Star to blow up planets. And they've got a massive fleet. And by the end of it, it's all kind of depleted and gone, and they saved the day. Then, in this new trilogy, there's a bigger Death Star. It's a huge Death Star, man. And it blows up loads of planets, dude, at the same time. All right, fine. Then in the second one, there's probably another one in The Last Jedi. I can't even remember. There have been so many fucking Death Stars that we don't need. And in this one, oh man. In this one, now there's an even bigger fleet. It's every single Star Wars movie, you're just going to have bigger fleets. That's the whole kind of story mechanic. It's so tiresome. So somehow Palpatine has amassed the biggest fucking fleet you've ever seen. With what resources? How would you do that in secret? How have you built thousands of Star Destroyers in secret with never revealing who the fuck you are? This is so stupid. Not only that, a Star Destroyer comes out and blows up a planet. And because we're playing 5-year-old play story time with his toys directorial role, and the story's flitting around so much like a kid changing the scene every 10 seconds, when the planet blows up, you don't even know what fucking planet it is. Who cares, right? This planet blows up because a Star Destroyer shot it. And when I saw it, I thought, what the fuck's going on? I thought you had to spend years and years building this Death Star to blow up a planet. But now it turns out, oh, Palpatine's just made this gun that's much smaller that you can attach on all these Star Destroyers that can blow planets up. So we've gone from Death Star to blowing up a planet to Mega Death Star and the new ones that blow up loads of planets to Star Destroyer with a smaller, more efficient gun that can still blow up planets. Okay, quickly get that in there to add some sense of danger. But by doing that, there's no danger at all because there's no way to suspend your disbelief. There's no build up, there's no explanation. You're just shoehorning it in there to try to artificially inject some tension and drama into the film. Well, it doesn't work. Not least due to the fact that all of these characters are so unlikable and you don't give a fuck about any of them. So that happens. Then she goes onto the planet and she meets Palpatine. So, fuck me. So she meets Palpatine and look, I'll say one positive thing about this movie. Palpatine is I love Palpatine because he's in the originals. Guess what? In this film, Palpatine plays Palpatine, and therefore Palpatine equals good. In the other films of this current trilogy, Han Solo doesn't play Han Solo. He's not a womanizing pirate with a Ferrari, Millennium Falcon, and a fucking dog, Chewbacca. He's basically a bitter old bastard. An evil old white male who has to be fucking kicked off a bridge like a tosser. Luke Skywalker, again, bitter old male, resentful old twat. He fucking suicides himself. Palpatine is Palpatine, and played by the same actor, apparently, I think. So I loved seeing Palpatine again, but I hated it at the same time because he shouldn't even be there. The fact that he's there means everything in the original film was for nothing. And there was a line in this film where when they're going to save the day, they said, if we don't do this, if we don't pull this off, it will all have been for nothing. How prophetic is that? You've already done that. You've already done that because you didn't kill Palpatine in the original films, you're saying. So that means it was all for nothing. This trilogy means that the original Star Wars trilogy, probably the best 3 films ever made, that it has become people's lives. Like, people identify with this to the point where it's people's lives and parents bond with their children over it. That's all for nothing. And not only would that be fucking outrageous, even if these new films were sick, these new films aren't sick. They're fucking awful, which makes that an even more bitter pill to swallow. So, Palpatine plays himself. Luke should have played himself. Han Solo should have played himself. But Palpatine is the embodiment of the evil old white guy. So let's embellish that, shall we? So Palpatine's there doing his fucking thing. And he's in this kind of dark temple. And it's revealed there's like thousands of these dark robed figures everywhere. Who the fuck are these people? What do they eat? Like, what do they drink? Like, where do they sleep? What are they doing? Like, who are these people? Palpatine, mate, where did you get these tens of thousands of men in dark robes worshipping you? What do you do with them? You, like, keep them alive? Do you, like, I don't know, do you play games with them? Do you chat with them? Do you bang them? Like, what do you do with these people? Who are these people? It's so weird. What's going on? So Palpatine says he wanted to kill her as a child. Oh, okay, I haven't told you the whole big plot twist. So it turns out, halfway through the film, they reveal that Palpatine is Rey's granddad. You fucking assholes. So in Empire Strikes Back, you find out the protagonist, actually the antagonist, is his dad. It's the family member. And now in this film, the protagonist, Rey, finds out her, not dad, her granddad is actually the antagonist, and it's her family member. J.J. Abrams, go and fuck yourself. With your Force Awakens, which was a piece of shit. I called it from day dot. Everyone else was like, oh, it's pretty good. No, it's fucking not. Now you see the error of your ways. I was right about that. J.J. Abrams in that ripped off New Hope. New Hope wholesale. I'm so fucking angry I can't even remember the name of the original fucking Star Wars. I think it's New Hope. So New Hope J.J. Abrams ripped it off because in New Hope, the droid has these plans. They have to fucking find these plans that reveals the location for something, and then they can fucking save the day. In Force Awakens, a droid has some plans. They have to find it to get the location to something. There's also a fucking Death Star. It's the same fucking story. Now in this one, you're ripping off Empire Strikes Back, you fucking assholes. That's such an unoriginal twist. So Palpatine says he's been trying to kill his granddaughter since birth because she's super powerful. Now, I don't understand this at fucking all, because then in the next sentence, Palpatine is saying, now you have to kill me. And he really fleshes out what happens if a person kills the dark side leader, the Emperor. What happens is his soul, his evil spirit will pass into them. So that means Rey cannot kill him, or she'll become Palpatine, basically. Palpatine will go into her and like possess her or something, or she'll become the new Palpatine. So which is it, Palpatine? Is it 1, you want to kill Rey because she's a threat to you? Or is it B, you need Rey to be alive to kill you so you can survive? Why are you trying to kill Rey in the beginning if you need her to kill you to survive and thrive? This makes no fucking sense at all. 0% sense. Who's fucking writing this shit? These people are getting paid top dollar. This is supposedly elite script writers. I can fucking see this is full of plot holes. This doesn't make any fucking sense. So, at this point, Kylo's coming back. He's thrown away his lightsaber. Also, Harrison Ford's in it. He appears as a ghost, but not a real ghost. It's like an image. It's not a Force ghost, but he appears as some kind of memory or ghost to Kylo Ren. And Kylo Ren goes to the light side and throws his lightsaber in the sea. Again, no one's really dead. Look, Han Solo's back. Oh, fuck it. I don't even care why he's there. Just say your bit and get on to the next scene. So, fucking Kylo's come to the planet somehow. He's there and he's come to help Rey. And then they're just making up Force powers as they go along. So Rey copies her lightsaber, like puts it behind her back, and then he's got the lightsaber. So I don't know what's going on. I think there's also a scene in this where Leia is doing her Force training. Leia doing Force training. Maybe in the expanded universe, she did some Force training, but, you know, women are super powerful too. And there's a scene where Leia not only is doing Force training, Luke's training her, but she bests Luke Skywalker in a lightsaber battle because, shh, be very quiet. It's a woman. Just let her win. Let her win. That's what you saw in this film. Leia bested Luke with a lightsaber. So maybe she has Leia's lightsaber. She's got like 2 and she gives one to... I don't even know what the fuck's going on at this point. Anyways, she gives Kylo Ren a lightsaber when he's not even in the same room. Going back to what I said about no limit to the power. So, well, you could just make anything happen. You could make a pink elephant appear and it would have the same impact in the film. I wouldn't give a fuck because anything's possible now. So basically, Kylo Ren's got an Ex Machina lightsaber, kills a few people, comes in to save the day, and he blows Kylo Ren off a cliff. And he says, it's like the way I died when I fell. So he blows him off a cliff. But of course, you know, nobody dies, right? Because fucking... You know, everyone's been brought, like 6 people have been brought back from the dead until this point. So Kylo's obviously, him falling off a cliff means nothing. No meaning to that at all. And of course he comes back later. But, so then Palpatine says he sucks out the Force power of Rey and Kylo. And I think this was in the expanded universe, but it's not really explained a lot here. But he sucks out the Force power and then he becomes the ultimate Emperor. So if he foresaw this all along, I don't know why he was trying to kill her in the beginning. Doesn't make sense. But anyways, he sucks out the Force powers. And then he's the Super Emperor. Yeah, all right. It's the Super Emperor. Let's go. He's got like amazing Force Lightning Turbo that's stronger than his regular Force Lightning. So now he's like omnipotent. There's basically nothing this cunt can't do. Not only that, this guy he is probably the most powerful guy ever. He basically killed Vader without even looking at Vader. Like Vader just touched him and Vader was like dead. That's how powerful Palpatine is. And he's been alone for 40, 50 fucking years, getting even more powerful. And he's just sucked out all the life force of Kylo Ren and Rey, the 2 most powerful remaining Jedi Force members ever. So now he's going to be unstoppable, right? And he is. So all these fighter ships come to help. There's always this really cliche thing where someone's fighting with a lightsaber, and then there's the subplot, which is all the ships are flying around shooting each other, which has been in the first Star Wars and all of these new ones. So before I get to Emperor's crazy turbo force lightning, where do all these ships come? So there's I told you, there's about 50 people, 50 good guys who were coming to save the day, and they're all saying these really cringy, there's so many cringe, I cringed like 100 times in this film. There's so many cringy moments when the good guys towards the end, they're saying, but no one's gonna help us. No one's gonna help us. We're alone. Oh, I wonder who's gonna help you. And then suddenly, like tens of thousands of ships appear. And I was sitting there thinking, what? Like I thought there's hardly any good guys left. Wasn't that established in the last film towards the end? There's just a handful of people. Where are these tens of thousands of good guys coming in spaceships to help you fight? And they explain it with one line of dialogue. They just go, they ask, who is it? And they say, it's the people. Oh, wow, the people rise up. This is so cheesy. This was like in the end of Dark Knight by Christopher Nolan, where there's two boats full of people. One's full of criminals, one's full of good guys. They've both got a bomb, and one of them has to detonate it first. But the people rise up, and the people come together and then save the day. And that's what happens in this film. The people are going to do it. So I guess this is a nod back to World War II, when the average people got put into a war. But that was bubbling up for years, and then the war started, and then it was all kind of organised over a long time. Within 5 minutes, you've got 10,000 people to come help you out. Whatever. So anyway, so all those ships are flying around like fucking ants, like flying ants in the summer, fucking everywhere, upon planet Testicle. And then the shriveled Emperor, he does this, I don't know why I'm doing Spider-Man shit. He does the force lightning into the sky, and he like EMPs 10,000 flying space. Like, he is the most ultimate powered force motherfucker ever. So everything I've just said, he killed Vader just by like sneezing on him. But before, he survived that being chucked down the ventilation shaft. He's had 40 years alone to take his powers to another level. He's just sucked out the life force of Rey, which she shouldn't even be able to get back now, right? And Kylo Ren. And now he's EMP'd 10,000 fucking spaceships. This motherfucker is ready to go. Oh, man, all those Star Destroyers are up there. I don't know how he built them, where he got the resources. They're flying around. Then Rey gets up. She's got two lightsabers. I think it's Leia's and fucking Luke's or whatever. And then he does force lightning, and she just gets the lightsaber and blocks it with the lightsaber, which now you are just destroying the legacy of the Emperor. That doesn't mean anything, and you're totally destroying the legacy of Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker couldn't do fuck all against that shit. He did throw his lightsaber away, but there's no way even Luke Skywalker could have just gone boom and blocked the force lightning. She's blocking the force lightning with one lightsaber. She switches the other one on. She's got two now, and she puts it in a cross shape, and she's going towards the Emperor. And then she hears some voices of the other Jedi, like Luke and whatnot, and probably Obi-Wan, whatever, saying, we're all with you. And then she disintegrates him. That's it. So, shh, it's a woman. Yeah, we don't want her confidence. You know, she's not very confident. Let's just give her infinite force powers, and then she'll be happy, and then everyone will be happy. That's what happens. The Emperor disappears. Now, I don't understand this part. So the whole point of this is the Emperor wants her to kill him. That's how he's going to take over the world and destroy the world. So he wanted her to kill him. But then she said, I'm not going to kill you. And then she killed him. What the fuck? So that means the Emperor won. What? But the Emperor's dead, but we know the Emperor's not really dead, right? Because everyone fucking dies and comes back. But apparently he's supposed to be dead in this film. They tried to make it out like that, but it doesn't make sense. So the Emperor, you lose if you kill the Emperor. So Rey kills the Emperor. What? Doesn't make any sense. And then that's pretty much it. And one of the saddest points was the next part, right at the end of the film. They're all going, yay, and they saved the day. I think there's a gay kiss in there. I don't know if I saw it. There's a gay kiss. So you've got the gay kiss, which is fine. So let's put the gay kiss in there. And then when you try to have the hetero kiss, it was Poe, and there's a bird, that kind of like strong, powerful woman bird that was introduced in this film, the girl. He looks at her, and he's like, huh? And she goes, no. So hetero kiss, fuck you, because women don't need no man. In Disney films and modern feminist films, men cannot be seen to have any romance with women because that's like a patriarchal dominant thing. Actually, it's a totally normal thing. That's what the audience relate to, and that's what gives the series all of its charm. But the movie is sexless, and it suffered badly for that. Rey is the unsexiest heroine ever. It's the typical feminist heroine. Do you remember Anita Sarkeesian, that absolute cunt of a woman who would try to exploit innocent gamers, fun-loving gamers, to push her feminist drivel and bully people? She cooked up a video game concept once. Look it up, Anita Sarkeesian's video game concept. She did a pitch at one of these expos, and it was the most... oh man, it was the most vanilla, insipid game ever. It was a kind of tomboyish lead woman character who goes around kicking all the men's asses and is totally non-sexual in any way. That's what Rey is. Not sexy. You need some chemistry. You need some sexual tension. You need the fucking Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher shit going on. You need that stuff. You know, but you can't do that now because all films have to pass this bullshit feminist Bechdel test. This film suffered badly for it. There was a little bit of romance, if you can call it that, with Poe and Finn talking about Rey, but it never blossomed into anything. And so that sums it up about the romance, chemistry, and soul and humanity in this movie. There is none. So you can't have a hetero kiss. So that was at the end. So cringeworthy. And then they're all kind of, you know, they save the day. And then they end the film with Rey going back to where it all started. And that was just the nail in the coffin for me. You know, I looked at that scene and I thought, this is where all my childhood dreams started. This is where the bond with my parents started. This is where, you know, I was inspired in life by this tale that's so much more than just a story. It's about religion, it's about life, it's about development, progression, you know, love, life, death, fate. Like it had it fucking all. And we've gone back to the seed, the genesis of that. And look what we've turned it into. We have completely destroyed the original 3 movies. And like they say in this movie, if they don't succeed, it's all for nothing. And they didn't. You know, the Emperor was never fucking killed. Like Luke Skywalker never made it. He became an old twat. Han Solo just... they never made it. And so it amounts to nothing. And that's all I have to say about that. You know, the main reason this film failed was because of Daisy Ridley. The protagonist in this film didn't work on so many levels. Number 1, it was in there for diversity and inclusion. Number 2, she's a terrible actress. And number 3, she's a woman. The lead protagonist of Star Wars should have been a man. Star Wars was written by men, and they are relating male tales about wanting to get the girl, about wanting to explore and conquer, wanting to build things. Luke built his lightsaber. All of that stuff. It's the male fantasy. And that is what Star Wars is, like it or not. It doesn't mean that women can't enjoy the film, but it's kind of a boys' movie. When you look at all the people who turn up to those conventions, the hardcore Star Wars fans with all the lightsabers and shit, they're all men. And so this film needed a male protagonist. If you can come out now and say, I want to see more representation, I want to see more women, I can say it too. This film needed a male protagonist. And it didn't need someone cast with racial profiling or gender profiling, because those people don't need your help. It needed someone casted on merit who was good enough to be in the film in the first place. And if you use this affirmative action, this is what you get. You bring the standards down and it ends up a failure. And you needed a good actor as the protagonist. That is what you needed. And that's where you failed. And Kathleen Kennedy, the producer of this movie, she destroyed this cinematic treasure just for her own self-indulgent brand of identity politics. She found that more important than this beautiful Hollywood legacy known as Star Wars. And the responsibility lies on her head. And that, my friends, is all I have to say about the Star Wars trilogy of recent times. I've been Johnny Massacre. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because that's what all those other cunts told you to do. I shall see you on the next one.